You're listening to a download from the outdoorstation.co.uk. Number 534.
I know that you're curious, I know that you're strong, but life can be furious and things can go wrong. You go, we're better off tomorrow, but who knows if we get joy or sorrow. Stay true to that fire in your heart and your soul. Don't drench your desire in what you can't control. We fly, try so hard to get there, and we might be lost but not forever. There's things in life you simply need to know, but sun and rain and trust in letting go. It takes a bit of suffering, sleepless nights and wandering, before you make it safely to the end, the end, the end. Don't say you're ridiculous, you're not even close. Don't wish for indifference, you're not one of those. We fall, but we always rise up through it all. We get a little wiser. There's things in life you simply need to know, but sun and rain and trust in letting go. It takes a bit of suffering, sleepless nights and wandering, before you make it safely to the end, the end, the end. And if you ever wonder, there is nothing wrong with a little thunder. There's things in life you simply need to know, about sun and rain and trust in letting go. It takes a bit of suffering, sleepless nights and wandering, before you make it safely to the end, the end. There's things in life you simply need to know, about sun and rain and trust in letting go. It takes a bit of suffering, sleepless nights and wandering, before you make it safely to the end. Before you make it safely to the end, the end, the end.
Hello and welcome back to The Outdoors Station, the longest running outdoors-based podcast in the world. Starting way back in 2005, there's now 532 podcasts, or 533 I suppose, including this one, in the library. And here we are approaching the end of 2020 and all the things that have happened to all of us as a result of COVID. I'm Bob Cartwright, your host, and as I say, since 2005, I've tried to create a podcast library which covers a whole range of outdoors interests, predominantly around self-powered travel, be it walking, cycling, running, horse riding, sailing or whatever, paddling, possibly with a little interest in keeping things fairly simple or going lightweight wherever you can. Now, since the beginning of the year, I've just clocked up what I've put out into the Ethernet, which consists of 26 podcasts, 17 live streams, and a handful of product videos. It's always good fun to produce them. It's good fun talking to people and learning. I'm always learning. I have to admit that I'm always learning. I may have a certain amount of experience in numerous outdoor activities, but I would not place myself in the category of expert at all. But it is good to talk on a similar level with people that have done travelling or adventures or hiking or whatever it may be, and understand sometimes what really is going on beneath the surface. I could go back and give you excerpts from the 26 podcasts, but sometimes I think that's a little bit of a cop-out as regards a podcast where you're listening, hopefully, to think about your outdoor activities and possibly what we're all going to be getting up to, if we're allowed to get up to anything at all, next year, of course. The whole landscape has changed, hasn't it? I mean, it really has changed. So of the 26 podcasts that I've released during the year, there's been, a wide-ranging list of interviews. Everything from stand-up paddleboarding, winter Iceland hiking, paddling along the Trail of Tears in America, cycling, Ready Steady So cycling to Ghana. What else? Anna Blackwell's paddling as well. Jenny Tuff's cycling and some of the running experiences that she's had through different continents. Then we have wild foraging, food foraging with Lisa Cutliff, both in spring and autumn, which has proved to be quite entertaining. A few other authors, Dave Linton, of course, the big rounds. The other author was, of course, Alex Roddy, where we looked at the Great European Hike, which is a wonderful book containing aspirational hikes all around Europe. And in fact, I think the highlight for the year for me was speaking to Ben Montgomery, who is the author of the Grandma Gatewood biography. If you're in the hiking community, and particularly interested in the lightweight hiking community, Grandma Gatewood is a name that you would have heard mentioned at some stage. But very, very few people know the backstory. And it's a fascinating insight into the woman, her younger life, and unfortunately some of the abuse that she lived through before she went hiking, really, purely because she just wanted to do something and escape. And as a result became, well, at the time, probably one of the most famous hikers in the world. And slowly her name is disappearing into hiking history. But well worth listening to, and certainly I've had some fantastic comments from people who appreciated being reminded or being told the full story. So that's looking at the podcasts. Now let's have a quick look at the live streams. Now, live streaming has been an interesting exercise on many levels, really. I had initially hoped to get the superfast broadband fitted a year ago. Obviously, it was all pre-COVID. It was all planned and booked in. And I was going to do a big launch about the studio and all the facilities and all the things that we were going to do in springtime of this year. However, because of COVID and because of circumstances and because everybody was basically pushed online, a lot of people started doing variations of live streams in various ways. And I was actually getting left behind, which was most frustrating. So I purchased a 4G aerial, about a 20-foot aerial, and stuck it to the back of the building, put a big booster on the top of it, and I just managed to get enough data to stream. And so I started the year off, I think it was March time now, to talking with Dave Linton and doing some demonstrations, talking about alcohol stoves, food dehydrators, and most importantly, as it's turned out to be, speaking with Ellie Bishop about how to cope with COVID-19 and isolation and the mental stresses, etc. Which is ironic, really. We consider we're back into a third lockdown now, and it was all going well. It was technically challenging from getting all the machinery to work and do what I wanted it to do. It was always sort of finger in the air, keep your fingers crossed that the 4G signal would hold, and most of the time it did. But then slowly, for some reason, particularly over 1 week, it started to fail. Anyway, long story short, the local cell tower went down. And it took until August, September before it was up and running again. So that stopped my my live streaming. And it's actually stopped a lot of the podcast interviews as well. Everything stopped, basically, because I was doing everything over 4G, which in one hand, when you think about it, when it works, isn't it fantastic? The other side of it is, of course, when it doesn't work, particularly when you do the type of thing that I've been doing, it fails miserably. So we managed to start again, as I say, once the cell tower was fixed. And I really enjoy doing the live streams. However, to give you an idea of the amount of work that it takes, generally they take about 3 to 4 days to prepare. By that, I mean not only the content and who I'm going to speak to and what I'm going to talk about, but obviously gathering together all the pictures, putting them together into groups, doing any animations, maps, logos, whatever it may be, to make it a slicker presentation as I would like it to be, which I think the subject matter deserves. And then you actually do the live stream, and then they spend the following day doing all the social media and posting it in various places and so on. Whereas an audio podcast takes about a day to prepare and discuss, do the recording, do the editing, and then it takes another day then to do the social media. So between doing, obviously, podcasts as well as streaming, as you can see, it was becoming a sort of 6-7 day existence, which leads me on to changing things for 2021. So I'm hoping that we can continue it and put a little bit more polish on it. And I was recently reading a social media marketing paper regarding the changes of 2020 and the development for 21. And they suggested that actually it's all about collaborations. And I thought, well, this actually is a really good opportunity. So I've had my thinking cap on, and I think this would be possibly a really good idea. What I would love to do is find 3 or 4 collaborators around the world that I could bring together over a live stream and discuss outdoor topics of the day or what's ever happening in their region. So if I could find somebody in Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, any other English-speaking areas really, or somebody with a good understanding of English that had a reasonable internet connection, we could bring them in Skype style, and we could have different discussions about outdoor activities in that particular part of the world, and obviously possibly look out of their window all at the same time. So 7 o'clock here would be 1 o'clock in America, and I don't know, midnight or something in Australia. All right, you're not going to see very much in Australia, but that's not the point. So what do you think? If you're an avid listener and a supporter of the Outdoor Station, and you've got a variety of interests in the outdoors generally, you know the sort of topics that I've touched on in the past. If you're interested and would like to discuss this further, there's no major commitment. It's not going to be every week of the year. Certainly be every few weeks or something. Would you like to come on and contribute to the outdoors scene? In the UK, currently, we're now into lockdown with the fear that we're all going to be in tier 4 or possibly the next tier if they're after that, where we have complete and utter lockdown. So a bit of social interaction, a bit of discussion, a bit of sharing the passion, sharing the outdoors love, as it were, a bit of knowledge, a bit of enthusiasm, I think would go a long way and keep a lot of people happy. So think of it as sharing a little bit of outdoor love around the world. And I think it would be also really interesting to talk with other people about their experiences, their just sort of outdoor attitudes generally where they are, and possibly even dip our toes into the product bin and discuss certain products. Of course, the other alternative is I can just join the endless list of people that are forever testing equipment or reviewing equipment, taking it out and putting it in the garden or up a hill overnight and coming back and explaining and saying it's an extensive test. That's not really my thing. I'm more than happy to talk with brands or talk with people about new products and new ideas and discuss them, certainly. But as regards doing these 24-hour reviews, I don't think really that's would be of interest to the normal outdoor station audience. In my last live stream just before Christmas, it was more of a Christmas social really, with Rose and I chatting to our faithful viewers that joined us and asked a few questions and had a bit of a discussion and a giggle as we were enjoying our Christmas goodies. Sarah Jackson from New Zealand asked a question about what my plans were for next year. And in all honesty, Sarah, you had me stumped, really. It was such a straightforward question that I didn't really have a decent answer for it. So I sort of waffled a bit, really. And my thoughts were that I'd spent so much of this year worrying about the technology, worrying about trying to get everything together, trying to get the studio together, trying to get everything finished. Although the building's done and the studio's done and the gear's in, I still haven't got one part of the building done, which is the toilet, which actually works out to be quite important sometimes. That I hadn't really put an awful lot of plans into next year, apart from, as I mentioned earlier, the idea of collaborating or putting it out as a suggestion to collaborate with other outdoors people, perhaps somebody like yourself, Sarah. We could chat about lifestyle in New Zealand and obviously have a look at some of your views. So once again, I'm scouring social media to see what interesting outdoor stories are popping up, or characters that obviously have a story to tell and can tell it well. And the newsletter, people that have signed up for the newsletter have always made a suggestion as regards who they would like me to talk to, what they'd like to know a little bit more about. That's always a good way of giving me some feedback, give me some direction. Obviously, I'm doing this all for you guys, so the more information you give me, the better and more interesting and varied the content will be for you. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, please do so over on theoutdoorstation.co.uk. There's a series of questions there if you don't mind just filling them in as regards products or people or brands or suggestions, and I will follow them up as I have done in the past. And that's a good way for me to get an idea of the change in trends. And I don't know if you guys would agree with me, but I really feel that almost the sort of content and the delivery of that content and the style of people that are producing popular content has changed over the last 2 or 3 years. And as we go into 2021, and we've got one eye on COVID, one eye on the vaccine, and one eye on the hills and wanting to get out there, but, trying to do things and play the game and keep within the rules and obviously keep ourselves and our loved ones safe. It's always good to get more of a feedback, more of an understanding from people, which is where actually the live streams really, really work well. I was talking with Rose about it and she was concerned that I was spending so much time on the prep work that perhaps we should do one really, really good live stream a month and a handful of audio podcasts as well. And then we can build up to whatever the content may be. So I think I've probably waffled on long enough at the end of 2020. And as we go into 21, have a think of, guys, if you'd be interested in contributing in some way to live streaming. All you need is obviously a webcam and a computer, or if you're lucky enough to have a fantastic 4G signal, we can do the whole thing off a phone, which would open all sorts of doors and ideas to where you actually might be located while you're talking to me on the phone and sharing the view with countless people around the world. So all I can say is I do hope you've survived this year okay, that things are controllable for you, that you can get things back under control to suit your life and your lifestyle for 2021. If you're doing some interesting or exciting adventures, then I do hope that you're able to pull it all off and nothing changes that's going to affect your plans. But I think we're all going to have to spend probably the next 6 months, possibly even the next 12 months, playing very, very carefully, very, very safe before we get back to the normality that we had become used to. So on that note, folks, thank you very much for spending the last 20 minutes, half an hour with me. Do appreciate your time. Do appreciate any time you spend on giving me some feedback and assisting. And as I say, anything guidance you can give me gives me a direction to produce media in whatever format that you'll find interesting. So a bit of dialogue is really, really useful, whether you do it on social media or whether you do it directly with emails or you do it on the website or however you want to contact me. But please contact me. And as I say, if you are located in a fascinating place and you're interested in coming on every now and again on a live stream and chatting about the outdoors lifestyle that you might be having in your particular area or any of the local news or whatever it may be, then please reach out to me. I'd love to get a range of collaborators around the world. So, until next year, folks, bye for now.
I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again. But life is one big riddle of the future and what's been. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running to better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times. Remember I was laughing in all the photos that you took, but now it looks like acting, like we were fiction in a book. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running to better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running to better times, 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 to better times. I look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me, nothing can stop me in the night. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff. Go, 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 running to better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running to better times, to better times, to better times.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To hear or see more from our extensive free library, please visit theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
To better